In summer of 2024, Brock and I put in the foundation for our off-grid cabin. After pouring the footings ourselves, we got to work on the piers. This started with a lot of rebar, which we had to custom cut to the right length for each individual pier. After it was cut, the rebar pieces were zip tied together and numbered. We made a chart so we would remember which number went to which pier. Next, we assembled the rebar cages. This took a while, so I'll speed it up. We started by putting these rebar rings onto just one bar. We put 2 rings at the top and 2 at the bottom for stability. Then 1 ring went right into the middle. The rings were tied into place using rebar ties. Once the first bar was in, we moved on to the second, third, and final bars. I used an old board to make sure the rebars were even at one end. When we were done, we made sure to put the ribbon back on with the pier number. Then came the sonotubes. So we're getting ready to use the laser level to mark where to cut off our sonotubes for the piers. Problem is we have to do it at dark, and right now it is just barely dusk and the mosquitoes are horrendous. I don't know why we thought we were going to do it this way. When, it would just be just as easy to stand them up next to the strings, which are exactly at the height where we need to cut them off at anyway. But we're sitting out here waiting for it to finish getting dark so we can be a mosquito's lunch and use the laser to mark the sonotubes. So yes, we worked in the dark. Brock carried over the sonotube. I marked it with a Sharpie and numbered it, and he carried it back to the stack. We only got a few done before it got too dark to see my marks, and we had to use a flashlight to check my work. The next day, we cut the sonotubes with a circular saw. It's dusty work. If you can tolerate wearing a particle mask, I would strongly encourage you to do so. After that, our part was finished. The job was too big for a couple of old people with limited time, no equipment, and no experience. We hired a crew who finished the job for us. The crew came in with shovels and plate compactors. They installed the sock drain into the trenches and placed the sonotubes and rebar cages. This crew was very conscientious of the centering marks we made on the footings. They worked together to ensure our piers would be exactly where they needed to be, as well as exactly plumb. Oh God, be careful.
Now is it true the new guy buys lunch or something? Is that what the Dakota's doing?
That's what I've always heard.
That's what I thought. Ah, Dakota, you're the greatest. Yeah, right.
There just happens to be one in Covington.
5 miles that way.
Yeah. Once everything was in place, there was nothing left for them to do but to fill up the trenches with sand. They brought in an excavator for that job. The operator would drop a bucket of sand and the laborers would spread it out. They would do, I think, a couple of feet, then would plate compact it. I can't swear it, but I think Brock is taking drinks and snacks orders here. They lifted the plate compactors down with the excavator. How cool is that? There was so much unusable dirt piled up beside the drain trench that the excavator had to move dirt to reach the back trenches. It wasn't long before we had used up all the sand we had on hand, and we started getting more delivered. In all, I think we got an additional 10 truckloads of sand. You wouldn't think we would need that much, but a 4 feet deep and 4 feet wide trench holds a lot of volume. Those yellow sonotubes are for the front porch. I am so looking forward to sitting on that porch and watching the sunset. That south side was so soft. The excavator was sinking and getting stuck. The dirt was piled up from digging trenches. Add to that, we'd had a hard rain the night before. The operator had to pull some felled trees from below the job site to give himself something to drive on. He packed down some sand, laid the trees on, and added more sand on top. This gave him a little more traction so he could finish his job. This is very similar to how parts of my driveway were reinforced. Once this temporary driving surface was built, the men got back to work filling trenches and plate compacting. They even compacted the drain trench going out to my swampy woods. With the trenches filled and the compacting nearly complete, the operator began the quick work of deconstructing his driving surface and smoothing out what will one day be my yard. He even dug a shallow trench to allow the water coming down the hill behind us to drain off into the woods. Putting a permanent drain there will be one of our projects for the coming year. With rain coming, our last task for the day was to cover the sonotubes so they wouldn't flood. The crew at MD Contracting in Baraga, Michigan were amazing. They worked hard, remained professional, tolerated the clients very well, and went above and beyond on this project. Thank you guys for all you did. And thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want more, please consider clicking the like and subscribe buttons. Also, if you would like to support me financially, please consider making a donation through Buy Me a Coffee or Cash App. Until next time, God bless.